Okay, yeah, well, what up, everybody? How are you guys doing? How you guys doing today? Please let me know where you're joining from, man. It's just good to be back in here and to talk to you, all right? It's amazing to be here, to share with you, to talk to you, to connect with you. So, whatever you're joining me from right now, please let me know in the comment section. It's very important. We're going to have a discussion to talk a little bit about couple stuff. And, today I'm not going to be talking a lot. I will share the link in the comment section. So, you guys, you see the title or the topic we're going to talk about. And I all know are very interested in Africa. You love Africa. You know what's going on in Africa. And as we always stay here and we want to fight for what is for the right of Africans. I appreciate for those who are joining us right now. I see Hewan, I see Samira. Yes, hello from Addis Ababa. I appreciate you guys, and I want to acknowledge this. I want to know. I mean, I know that, and I understand that a lot of people might be working right now. Um, a lot of people might be working right now, so they might not be able to join us today. But for those who will be here, we're gonna continue with the discussion. And I really want to know your opinion, guys. I really want to know your opinion about the topic that I share here today. I appreciate everybody who is joining. I see Mariette, I say, as always, from Netherlands, home quarantine with oh, well, I pray that all will be right, and I pray that you'll recover as soon as possible. Guys, for those who are struggling with whatever that's going on, I appreciate that you wrote C there. That's amazing. We have Eagle Eye from Addis. I appreciate, man. Addis in the house. So the topic of today, as I shared with you guys here, I am really curious, and I really, really, really want to know your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because I can simply come here and talk about this topic and share my point and share everything that I think, but it's just me. It's just one way communication. And communication is about two sides. It's not just about one side, but it's about two sides. So my side and your side, guys. If you can see, man, I'm sweating. It's too hot where I am right now, man. I just took shower, but I'm sweating already. Um, Communication is two ways. It's both ways. It's me and you guys. So we're gonna talk about this, and I really, really want to hear your opinion. I really want to hear what you guys are thinking. Don't hesitate to join and to share your point. I'll be sharing the link very soon. The matter of fact, let me share right now. Okay, I'm gonna drop the link in the comment section for you guys to start coming in to contribute in the topic that we're talking about today. And I want to encourage you. Most of people, they are skeptical, you know what I'm saying, and they don't want to contribute. Maybe they're afraid or they're scared. Man, there's nothing to be scared. There's nothing to be afraid. If you have anything that you want to mention, if you want to have anything that you want to say, this is your perfect opportunity to do so. I'll do the same thing. I'll share this link as well in the in our YouTube, and you guys can come and join as well. Now let me share in the YouTube group right now. You can copy this link as well, guys. You can share with somebody. Let me share here with some people, and then we'll jump right away. We'll continue to do this. All right, so guys, you can do the same thing. You can share this with somebody. I understand that here in Africa, a lot of people might be, working right now because it's the working hour, but it's my working hour here as well. So yeah, let's do. All right, I'll raise a word of prayer a little quick, and guys, feel free to join. Well, God, I thank you for today. The weather is too hard where I am right now, but still, we're gonna have this discussion. We're gonna have this conversation. So, give us wisdom, give us understanding, and help us, guys, to figure out the ways to develop ourselves, the ways to stand for our Africa, the ways to stand for our people and to defend what we do have here in Africa. I give you praise in your name. I pray. Amen. All right, guys. The only will be back in a bit, guys. I dropped the link in the comment section. This is what I want to do. I don't want to go ahead and just share my point and what I think, but I really, really, really want to hear from you guys. All right, I want to learn from you. I want to hear from you guys. I did the same thing. I shared a couple minutes ago on our YouTube. Maybe let me elaborate a little bit before I begin. All right. So the topic is, what if Africa? What will happen if Africa was in control of its resources? of the resources that we do have. We all know that this is one of the, it's actually the richest continent we have on Earth. It's Africa. We have everything that we need everywhere. When you go to, Congo, from Congo, Tanzania, South Africa, you go to the east, you go to the west, north and south, oil and everything. We have everything that we need in Africa. And earlier today, somebody shared one of the videos that, the RIP, Magufuli, he was sharing about the richness in Africa and all those kind of things. And he was talking about how it is so important for Africa to come together, to stand with what we have, to protect one another, and to defend the richness that we do have in Africa, so that it may benefit Africans and not anybody else, right? So I was watching that video, and somebody yesterday, one of the posts I posted, and somebody commented and was asking this question, what if Africa was in charge of the resources that we have? And it got me thinking that it's actually a really good question to ask, because maybe sometimes we don't think about it, right? What will happen if Africa was in charge of everything that we do have? What would happen to African people? What would happen to our governments? What will happen to our countries? Right? A lot of time I'm coming here to share with you guys about, Niger, the uranium in Niger, that it provide like 40% of electricity in the France. It comes from Niger uranium, and at the same time, 86% of people here, in Niger, they don't have electricity. So if you think about it, then if you think about like what will happen if we were in charge, if these are our resources, these are things that we do have, and what will happen if our people, our leaders will take good care of it and they were in charge with what we have? What will happen to our continent? What will happen to our economy? What will happen to our development? What will happen in every single thing that we do have? I want to hear, guys, your opinion. The link is in the comment section. I see here Marie say Africa will become the world leader. I agree that with everything I got. That's a good point to say. And not just in a point that, this is what will happen, but knowing that every single thing that Africa has right now, actually, I would say this, that Africa is the leader right now, but it's a leader that constantly is being undermined, constantly is being pushed away, constantly is being exploited. And it's just there. Like, everybody knows, everyone knows that Africa is the leader. But he's that leader that is never been given a platform, right? If you're a leader and you want to speak, you have a microphone, then what they do, they just turn off the microphone so that nobody can hear your voice. That's what happened in Africa. That's what happened for this beautiful continent. You're a leader, you want to address to your people, and all of a sudden, if its mic is not working, if you want to address to the media, it's not working. If it is a YouTube like this, they cut it down. If it is Twitter, they mute you. Well, right? They make sure that nobody sees what you're posting. Oh, they're doing that to me, guys. I've been muted for a long time. I don't know what I can do, guys. Help me out. What can I do to unmute my my Twitter account? Anyway, but it's that leader that is a leader that has everything that it's crazy. It's ironic that when you think about what Africa do have, it's richness, right? It's richness that can stay there for as long as it goes and can help and support and develop the continent, the Africa that we do have. But of course, that we're lacking technology. So even though we cannot really use it. And in our mind, we constantly think that, we need technology right now, right here to develop ourselves. And so what we do, we are ready to sell what we do have in the name of technology, buying technology, in the name of support. But at the end of the day, everything is being used against us. Everything is being used against us. Like what I would say, I have my brother is joining here already. I'll put him in very soon. What I would say that, man, I had really point and I just forgot right now. Oh, what I would say is this, that there is no loss in keeping what we have. Even if we don't have technology, we don't have the ways to develop what we do have, all these minerals and everything that we have, even though we have that, they will never expire. The gold that we have on this ground, or the diamond, they will never expire. Or the oil, it will never fade away. Uranium will never fade away. All the richness we have, it will never fade away. Okay, I remember. What we need, what we really desperately need, is a visionary people. I'm not just a visionary leaders, but I'm saying visionary people who will think about Africa in 50 years to come. Not just right now, right here, tomorrow, but people who will think about Africa 50 years to come, 100 years to come. The system that Africa is struggling right now, here in the continent and outside of the continent, is the system that were built like 100 years ago. System that have been prepared long time ago. So we need leaders today who they're not just going to think about creating the legacy from themselves right now, but they will think about 50 years to come Africa. Thinking about 100 years to come Africa. Think about that, because if you think about that, then every decision you're going to make today, you're going to be as careful as you can, because you know that I'm making this decision for my people to come 100 years later and 50 years later. And when you think like that, you're not going to rush to sign, like to make a deals with different like mining companies that will take advantage of you, that you will take only 12% and they will take all the other percent of what you do have. You not rush into a decision. It's better to grow slowly than to go just, tomorrow you're already there and then you lose everything. We need, okay, let me stop there because I don't want to talk much. I want to give opportunity to others. Hey, Pi, what's up, my brother?
Hey, what's up?
How are you today?
I'm good.
The reason why I sent you a message straight, because I saw that, you guys have an energy to share on the group. And I was like, why don't we channel this energy right here?
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So I even reached to Ebenezer and I told him, my brother, come, let's join here. Let's channel that anger to something better and let's do it.
Yeah, how come we don't see Ebenezer much? He always has some of the best inputs, but he's usually behind the camera. Where's Ebenezer?
Yeah. I've been texting him. Hopefully he will join us very soon. I want him to join here.
Okay.
Yes. So my brother, let me know what you think. I came across this, one point. Somebody commented yesterday in one of the posts that I posted, and it was a very interesting comment. And this is one of the questions that that person asked at the end of his message. And he said, what if Africa will be the way that he was, I think he was relating Africa, and Westerners. So what if Africa will be in control or in charge of everything that we do have, which is like, it's very strange. Even, writing this topic here, what if Africa is in control? Like, it's very strange that
it's like asking what if Africa is for Africans? That's basically what the question
is. Exactly. It's a strange question to ask. Like, I was writing down and I was like, man, it's strange that we're here. We need to talk about the topics like this. But I really want to know your insight, man, because you always have really good insight.
Well, I think if I could just wave a magic wand and say all the resources belong to Africa today, and everyone would go back home, like there's no exploit, there's no stealing, like it's easily 100 trillion plus economy for Africa. Because, for example, the reason why people steal uranium is they use it for nuclear weapons, which is super expensive. So if the uranium, they had to buy it instead of stealing it, that would be an industry right there. If a lot of the countries that we have, they were able to do the manufacturing like for themselves, like they manufactured like everything for themselves, and they're able to do the industry with the oil and gas without and being able to not have the sanctions affect them, and it's easily more countries that are like Nigeria that has like 300 billion like plus GDP a year. Like for example, we could talk about this before. With one of my with Warsame last time, one of my former students, like when I was tutoring, he was from Saudi Arabia, and he didn't pay anything for school. It's just some money he had because he was one of the scholars there. And that's how it is. And that's just oil and gas. Imagine if it's oil, it's gas, it's steel, uranium, diamonds, gold. I know even in Tanzania, you guys have tanzanite. Like it would just be, it would be too much, and sanctions would not affect. Because, for example, like if any reason like someone put sanction on Africa, we could just say, all right, we're gonna ban all exports of natural resources until this sanction is taken off. It would never affect Africa. In fact, it would kind of be like, I know, like kind of like it was just a TV show, like Wakanda or whatever. Like that's basically how it would be. Like everyone would ask Africa like what they would want in order to progress like this global system that's not for us. But unfortunately, people are taking it away, and it's big problem. Most people, they don't even know about this kind of issues that we talk about. I mean, I know we talk about it, but I think we need to bring more awareness to it. Right. Yeah.
Why do you think there's like a lot of resistance when it comes to Africa to maybe discovering some stuff, or Africa like take charge of its own narratives and take control of its own resources? Why do you think there's a huge resistance when it comes to that? Like why? Like I know it's about power control, but why? Like why in your perspective?
Well, because you see how this world is so barbaric and demonic, and there's so many wars everywhere. If we had control of our resources, it'd be a really peaceful place, because we don't, as a history people, we don't have a history of going into other people's continents and exploiting. This is not something that we do. Because what they do is, because there's so many chaos over the resources, it's not just about the resources. They use that chaos to practice their military. Because when your military doesn't have any experience and it goes to a big war, like a world war, they're gonna lose. So they use the chaos to practice. It's just some kind of game to them. That's why they want to practice the military in Libya, in Somalia, in Nigeria, basically everywhere. That's why there's so much resistance, because it will be a peaceful place, and Africa belongs to Africans. And just like in the diaspora, I know in Washington, they post like a bill like for Asian people so that they can not be discriminated against. If we had control of our own resources and we were to be discriminated against in other countries, we'd be able to pass bills in other countries to protect our own students. So that wouldn't happen. So racism wouldn't be able to happen. Otherwise, you just take the resources from them and they won't be able to do anything. And there'd be like a famine of resource. That's the reason. Yeah, that's the reason.
Wow. And so when you're talking about this topic, I like all the time you find one common point, that everybody's pointing fingers at the leaders, right? That this is because of the leaders, this is because of what they're doing, this is because of what they're manipulating us and everything. I mean, taking advantage of what we do have and all those stuff. Like everybody is pointing at the leaders, that they're not working enough, they're cutting bad deals, they're corrupted. Then my question is, how do you think we're getting out of this? How are we getting out of the system of being controlled and being used to the point of us taking in charge, being in charge of our own resources, like being in charge of everything that we have? Like how do, even if we have like some contracts, some collaborations with other countries, but we want to be in charge, we want to be in control of what we do have. So how do we move away from where we are to that point?
Well, I think the first step is we need to, I don't know what it is, but there's this thing like globally, not just in Africa or other countries. There's this thing that we have some unresolved issue between Africans, Black Caribbean Islanders, and the diaspora in general. Like it's like we have a border, I know we see these borders on papers in the globe, but we have like this border like in our mind, like in our social, like in our soul, to be able to not want to work with each other. Like, so people need to know the history, like what happened beforehand. I talked about this before in the chat, like for like Caribbean, like wherever we are, we always have like these like events between other countries, like all the different Caribbean countries, like just to like be social, like catch up, like what's going on in your country, what's been going on lately, stuff like that. If we had something like that for all of Africa, like what's going on in Africa, what's going on in diaspora, what's going on in Caribbean, and like what are the immediate issues that we need to solve. Like we have like some, not just a party to party, but like a party to how do I say this? Like something where we can all get together and learn the history. That'll be one. And two, like what's going on, what's the emergency issue? Like I know Ridge is building Triangle right now. If we have the resources, the manpower to be able to, and the willingness between all these three groups of people to be able to solve the issue, we can not only just talk about it and figure out what happened in the past, so we know in the future, but be able to move on that issue and be able to have a better. Because what is the leader going to do? Like, for example, I know you talked about this before with Tanzania, but even in Ethiopia, as soon as they say we're going to build a dam, they say, oh, it's going to steal water. I have seen zero reports. We talk about this hundreds of times. I've seen zero reports of it stealing water. In fact, I think it actually helped Sudan with the floods, the dam, to have less flooding because they deal with flooding all the time. So as soon as that happened, it's just there's another war and whatever. But if ever there's a big project, especially energy project that's going to transform like a specific African country, if there's unity between not just Africans in general, well, Africans, Black Caribbean Islanders, or diaspora in other countries, what are they going to do if they cause a war and the unity is already strong? Who's going to want to fight? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to want to betray if it's going to help them as well and it's not disunited? I think that's the biggest problem, is disunity. Yeah. Not knowing the history, not knowing what's going on. Like, they missed the deadline for East African shilling. No one's talking about it. And that's literally the one thing right now one of the things that would just change like everything. Not just for East Africa, but for West Africa and South Africa and North Africa.
Exactly. Yeah. And shout out to that. You know, right now Congo is part of the EAC, East African Community, which is amazing. We're getting bigger. And you know, the plan, when you look at the plan and what they're doing, man, it's like it gives hope, right? Having the common currents very soon and all those stuff. It's just hope. We'll have enough time to talk about all these things. I want to bring in my another brother here, His Excellence Ebenezer. Man, Ebenezer, it's good to see you, and Tribal African, it's good to see you guys. But let me start with Ebenezer. Ebenezer, it's good to see you, by the way. And I just want to hear your insight, man, on this topic.
Good to see you, Mika. Glad that you're safely back home. I just wanted to join because, I've been having this issue of everyone talking about what's happening in the world and not redirecting the opportunity that whatever is happening in the world, the attention is far away from Africa. And let's redirect it to, Africa. Use the energy on, producing solutions. So I believe if we keep the resources, I think to keep the resource, we need to believe that we're not in need of the resources. They are. Now, the first thing that comes into our head is the money that we could make if we make a deal with Australia or America or somebody from outside of Africa. So, like, for example, the deal that was made earlier I saw it in the groups, like some kind of, for 15 years, they mine something and they get, like a lot of money, and they give you only, basically they give you $45 million. It's like, if you keep the land there, if you just irrigate it or just, harvest something from the land, you're going to get something. I mean, worthy of, spending the money on. But, like, they come to us as if we need help. They tell us that we need the money. So we just bow down to that. And we have to stop doing that. They need the resources, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not. They need it. So if they need it, they have to pay enough money for it. That's how we keep the resources. We have to stop acting as the ones who need help. We're not. We are actually the ones who are helping. They're making $900 million and they're giving you $45 million in 15 years. I mean, like, come on. This is just a complete joke for me. Like, now, as an African, I believe that we need to stop acting as if we are the ones in need of the money and they take the resource and we get the money, so that we're actually working on a what do you call it, temporary problem, and we're giving a permanent solution for it. So like there's a temporary problem, that's financial crisis in Africa, and then suddenly there is uh like an opportunity that solves your temporary problem permanently. Resources are not unlimited. Like they take the resources out, and when they have used you enough, and they just leave you away. They don't even help you when you need them. So what you have, as an Africa, what we have to do is that we have to focus and redirect that the need is not for money, the need is for resources. So we need to value our resources, even if they're buried underneath. They're worth for our generations to come. We need to focus on the not on the issue of the finance right now that we see on the target. Africa can
Yeah.
feed, and I believe this. If you harvest anything
Yeah.
in Ethiopia, I believe entirely, if we only work in Ethiopia perfectly on the land that we have, without using any ground resources, the minerals, anything that we have on the ground, underground, without using that one, if we just harvest corn, wheat, and barley, all these things perfectly, if we used and utilized the land in Ethiopia, we could feed the entire east of Africa. We could. But we are still desperately waiting for people to come and invest in Ethiopia, because there is no investor in Ethiopia who wants to invest in Ethiopia. They want to leave Ethiopia the second they get money. They go and live in Europe. The second they get money, they go and have vacation in Dubai instead of Kenya, Mombasa, Tanzania. Like there's a safari over there. You can go and enjoy. There's a beach in Tanzania. There's a beach in Kenya. There's a beach in. No one is willing to invest a penny in Africa. We're all focused to go out there and take a picture and say, I'm in Dubai. I'm sorry. Like, I have no appetite going anywhere than Africa, to be honest. And this is it. We need to start valuing the resources that we have at hand, that they're so good that we need to really work on those. Like, they're in need of the resources. We're not. So we need to change that one. We have to be in need of the resources. Then we have to focus that the world actually has to pay the right amount of money to take the resource. They want to come here, they have to pay the proper wage for employees that are Africans. They have to pay proper money for the resource that they're ripping us off. They have been doing that for so long that we have to stop them and say, like, you know what? We're ready to starve. We're ready to get hungry until we get our asses off from the ground and work our asses off so that we can make a better Africa tomorrow. So we need to really work on that. That's the perspective I see. The resources, we really have to value them. As long as we don't, there is a saying in Amharic, if you if you don't value your own thing, nobody's gonna value your thing. So we're not
Absolutely.
valuing our resources. So I think that's where we should start. Like, let's value our resources.
Ebenezer, you said something very, very important, and I never thought about it. I mean, I've never really thought about it, but you say something very, very important, and I want to emphasize on it, and I want everyone to note that. He said this, that we need to value our resources. And before that, he said that they need our resources. We don't need the resources because we do have them, right? We have it here. And, a lot of time when you have something, you don't really see the value of that. And we see value in money, and we don't see value on the resources we have. And so we are giving it away with all these crazy deals that we do. But what we don't understand is they are willing to pay any amount of money to get the resources we have. Because you cannot compare the value of the resource of the gold and the paper money. You cannot, because the money is created by a human being. The gold is created by God. How can you value that? And it's coming from the ground. We will need to open our eyes and to see the value of the resources we have. Why we say Africa is so rich? It's so rich because we have all these amazing resources that you cannot compare with the value of money. You cannot. But then we do not see that. We'll sell them away, we take them away, and then we see value in money. And so whatever that they're giving it to us, we are so hooked up on the money, on the papers, and we want to get that. Want this money, and we don't realize that the resources we have, we can actually demand any amount of money, and they will be willing to pay at the end of the day because they need, guys, they need the resources we have. Because you cannot all make. You're talking about nuclear, you're talking about different stuff. You cannot make that without the resources that Africa has. I'll just give you an example. Just right now, with all this thing that is going on right now, I don't want to go into this, but I just want to give an example. With all this thing that is going right now, you see, one of the ways and one of the reason why all these superpower nations, they don't want to go all the way in, like to put on some other sanction, because they still need the resources that is in Russia. They need the resources like oil that is there, and so they're backing out and be like, you know what, for this one we cannot put sanction on this, on that. Why? Because we need this. It should give a big lesson to Africa that the resources that we do have, we should actually be in control. We should be in a position of demand. Like demand, when we sit down on the negotiation table, we should be the one to cut the deal that, you know what, okay, you want this? This is the amount of money we need, and A, B, C, D, this is what we need for you to get this. But it's vice versa, it's opposite. Like we're going, honestly, we're going to beg for money. Like honestly, we're going to beg for money that help us with money. And we have the damn resources we have, a lot of resources we do have. We can actually stand there, and instead of asking for that money that we're asking for, we can actually sell what we do have. We can manufacture what we do have by coming together and build all this industry that we need to develop our own countries, our own continent, and then demand it from them. We can be in the position of negotiation. We can have our own mining companies that will stand there and demand that, okay, you guys, if you want to collaborate with us, you're going to collaborate in our terms because these are our resources and you guys, you need them. And even back of the days, we didn't even need money. We didn't even have money. Africa, man, when you go to countryside these days, those people, they don't need money. They have everything that they need. They don't really need papers because everything, even the trade they're doing like barter trade. They're exchanging. Like I give you cow, you give me some like rice or some maize. That's what they do. Like this is how it used to be. Of course, it cannot be like that forever. But you say something very important, that the resources that we have, like, man, the value of this continent is on the ground. That's why you see there's a lot of boats, there's a lot of sheep. They always live away from Africa, taking sand from Africa, man, sand from Africa. And it's not just sand, those are minerals that have been taken away, shipped away out of Africa. That's Africa, like sand. Can you imagine somebody taking sand away from Africa? That person is wishing his country to be here in Africa, in this ground. That's how rich this continent is. But we don't see value on that. And you know the way that the Western media and everything that is transforming, changing, it makes us think. This is how we think. We think that, you know what? Oh, I need money, man. I need papers, man. Money. I need money. I need dollars. And we don't see that. That value of money is nothing compared to the resources that we do have in Africa. It's nothing. So, Ebenezer, you pointed out something really, really important.
Can I add one more thing?
The values of what we have. Yes.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing? This is what has been happening in Ethiopia so far that I know. Like if a foreigner comes in Ethiopia, invests, they put the terms, the low payment wage for, salary for employees. For example, right now, oil in Ethiopia is 1,000 birr for 5 liters. And many of the employees in Eastern Industry, Chinese company, their salary is 1,000 birr, basically. So they put the wages because for them, we break the rules and the laws. For our own investors, we make it strict on them because they're Ethiopians. They have to live according to Ethiopian laws. I can't believe that people actually do crimes in Ethiopia. And for the sake of relationship with that, specific country, for example, if a Dutch man commits a crime in Ethiopia, he'll go free. If he kills a man with a car accident, he'll go free. You know why? Because they need the relationship to keep going on. But if you commit crime in the Netherlands, if you commit crime in China, if you commit crime in in America, not only you, your lookalikes will be murdered. Your lookalikes will be target for police brutality. But here in Africa, we don't even value our people. The souls that are dying by the Chinese, the souls that are dying, starving, trying to commit suicide. People are really scared these days. They want to join some kind of weird rebel groups because they're afraid. I'm working with colleagues that are willing to go to war with the current government. You know, they want to join so that they can earn money or die trying. There are people who are really willing to commit into something, rebellious, because they're really afraid. The government is afraid of the investments, but we're not opening up to investment in Africa. Investors of Africans, we're not letting the diaspora come and invest. We make the diaspora suffer, so the diaspora goes back. But when the white man comes, when the Chinese come, we bow down like as if Jesus himself came. And this is so weird for me, because what's the difference between me and the guy that's just coming? You know, I could do much better than the guy who was just arriving in Ethiopia and doing business in Ethiopia. We let them commit crimes. We let them cheat. On our own kind, we become savages. This has to change. We have to agree to a term that we have to get paid enough if they want the resources that is going from Africa. They have to pay for the resource. They have to pay for the human resources. If they have the resources in their country, let them stay in their country. We can utilize this resource one day, very soon, because we have well-equipped. We don't believe in our own people. We don't believe in our doctors. We don't believe in our engineers. Why? Because our education system has failed Africa entirely. So we need to start valuing our resources, including the human resources. That's what I believe in.
That's the perfect point, man, my brother. And we're gonna emphasize on that we need to value our resources. That means our human resources and we need to value, to put a value on it. We are the one, we have to do that. If we don't do that, we just think that, oh, these are just things that coming from the ground, they need to be manufactured, and when they're manufactured, they become more pricey. No, man, we need to value that. We have this is value, this is money. Like the gold you see, that value you cannot compare with money, and we need to value that. We need to keep that. We can wait, even if it's up to 40 years or whatever. We have enough technology to do that. We can keep there and wait, so that it may come to benefit our people in the next couple of years. I'm telling you, if we focus on this 20, 30 years to come, Africa will be untouchable. It'll be untouchable. I want to bring my brother here, Tribal African. Tribal African, welcome. And we have Mwenda Tezi as well. I'll start with Tribal African to hear your point, my brother. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you? How was your trip in Ethiopia?
Man,
I saw you having fun.
It was amazing, man. I'm still trying to wrap up everything that has happened. So hopefully one day we'll have a little bit of evaluation together.
Okay. Yeah, my brother. This issue about African, I've been brainstorming for over like 5 years. What is wrong? What is going on with Africa? Well, I'm going to give you a solution, but I just want to say certain things before we get to there. Do you know this book, How European Underdeveloped Africa? Have you ever laid your hands on that book?
No.
Yeah,
just write it somewhere down. You can have it. Okay. How European Underdeveloped Africa is by Rodney Edward. He's from Guyana. That book to me is a Bible. It's a Bible, and it has so many solutions that we can use. Because it has got details, names, company, people, everything that you want to know what's going on. But before I get there, this is what I'm going to say. We always say our politicians. Who are our politicians? We should be those politicians. We say our politicians. Those people are built on the system that they're just there to represent the European. What happened? This will happen after the guy from Ethiopia was talking about our resources. Why did the European come to Africa? Because they wanted food. They were dying in their country. There was no land, no food. They could not eat. They came to Africa to look for land and food to feed their home country. That has not changed up to today. They have built a colony in Africa to feed them. I think we mostly sometimes when we come, we talk about gold, oil, but let's not even go there. Let's talk about agricultural project. I'm from Cameroon. Palm oil, like, okay, if you look in most African countries, we produce what they call cash crops. Everything we do in our country is to export it to the European country. And if you want to understand, they are the ones that built this industry to feed their company. They're just their mother countries. They're just having cheap labor from us to feed their country. But what we eat ourselves as staples, we don't produce them. Like the biggest plantation in our country is to feed European country. I think I've been doing more research in most African countries. It's the same. This banana, the vast majority of banana is going to the West. There's cocoa, the vast majority of cocoa is going to the West. There's pineapple, the vast majority of going to pineapple is the West. It's always them. So what do we produce? Like, I don't know, if from Tanzania, you probably eat a lot of maize.
Yes.
But I'm sure there is no big industrialized factory that does maize in Tanzania. I may be wrong. Is there like a big company that is only there to produce maize in Tanzania, what you eat as staples? Is there something like that?
Not one of I'm aware of.
Exactly. That is the thing that we need to first start. We need to start producing our staples. What do we eat? First of all, we need to make that available for the last person in the village and make it all like as cheap as possible before we start even thinking of exporting these people or exporting this cash crop. But these people have made this system in such a way that if you don't accept to follow the status quo, you will be in serious problems. So the politicians we have that we say are politicians, they have what I say that they've got a rope on their neck. They can't do much. So this political system in Africa needs to be replaced completely. Because if you don't know, most of our leaders, they're in some kind of secret society with these European leaders. They're in Freemasons, they're in Amok, they're in all this, that they've been controlled. Sometimes we say puppet leaders, but these people, they sit there and tell them how to rule your country. If you don't want it, they'll take you out by a coup, or they kill you, or they poison you, because they can't afford to leave us, because we feed them. They understand that very well. So what do? That's what I tell people. We as Africans, we cannot work as individual countries, because the West sees us as a bloc. I know sometimes African will say, well, Africa is a continent, it's not country. Yes, but they treat us as a bloc. So we need to work as a bloc. We need to have a new political... I give this example. This is my solution. We need to have a Pan-African political party for the youth that is the same in all, like at least 10 African countries with the same agenda and the same constitution. Because if we don't do that, you can be strong in Tanzania and you say, okay, Tanzania says, well, I want to do a nuclear plant. I think we're big enough, we can manage nuclear plant. The West is going to say, no, you can't manage a nuclear plant, blah, 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 because they know that's going to make you strong. You go ahead, you will do it, but because you're depending on cash crop, you're exporting your food to them, they will give you an embargo. And that embargo, you're going to suffer. And not only because of that, they're going to tell your neighbors not to work with you. And that's going to cripple your economy. But if we had a conglomerate of political parties that we don't need to depend on the West, at least for our own immediate lead, they can't give no embargo to no person. They give an embargo to Tanzania. Tanzanians say, okay, we don't need an embargo. I can see trade with Kenya. I can see trade with this one. I can see trade with this one. And they would not be able to tell these other countries that don't trade with them because we work as a group. The same party, the same the same agenda. We need to work like that. You know, we can't keep on waiting for these politicians to change anything. They are compromised. They're just there to represent, to maintain the status quo. And some of them will tell you, well, they're giving us money. But no. I'll take an example. Kenya. Kenya has the best climate to produce rice in Africa, in East Africa. Kenya has one of the best climate. There's no need Kenya is not producing rice to feed all of East Africa. But what they want to do, flowers, coffee, and these things is for the West. We're still depending on them to feed us, like just even feeding us. We still depend on them. If they say we're not going to buy your coffee, what you going to do? If they say we're not going to buy your flowers, what are you going to do? We should start, first of all, what we produce, what we consume as staples, we should have them in abundance. I live in the West, okay? In the West here, these people, they eat a lot of potatoes. They have potatoes in abundance. You go in any sector or any part of this country, you've got combined harvesters. Potatoes is the least thing that the least person here will have. They have potatoes in all form, mashed potatoes, jacket potatoes, chips. It's their staple. They can never get hungry because that's what they produce. They don't import that. That is guaranteed. They have their tomatoes. Their staple is guaranteed for them. Then now they start to say, let's buy. But we are doing the opposite. We are doing the opposite. We are selling what should not be sold, and our people are hungry. You see, the local farmers trying to make some cassava. We eat cassava a lot. We should have the biggest factory in my country. Should be the biggest factory that produces cassava. We eat maize. Should be the biggest factory. Should be the factory that produces maize. Yeah. These people need to eat first. We need to change that mindset completely before we start moving on. And we can't trust this a politician. We need a new complete political system, a political party, as I said it, a conglomerate. And it should be the party that's represented by youth. We are the youngest continent, the continent with the youngest people, but we don't have the political party that represents youth. It's like some old people with some arcade kind of thinking. They don't really understand how things work. They can't represent us. Someone that is 70 years old, what motivation has he got in life? He just wanted to respect him as an elderly person. But when we got youth that are hungry, like I'll say young men, they see competition. They want to be, I want my country to be like America. I want my country to be like England. But these people just want for you to respect them. You know, when you see them, when they talk, when they go into this European Union Parliament, it's like they're happy. They just want, just being there to them is some kind of achievement. They're happy. Oh, they're shaking hands. You look at their faces. They're happy. This is 2020. We can't deal with them. So there's a lot we need to change that mindset, and we need to first produce what we eat. It should be in abundance before we start selling, and we need to trade with one another. I think the East African community is good. I really like it. I really want that it should take speed so that these other dormant ones, I think maybe it's going to make them to boost up to make them more serious and try to see things and try to make things better for the continent. Yeah, we should work together as a political conglomerate. We can't try. I can't try to fix. I'm from Cameroon. I can't just try to fix Cameroon. You can't just try to fix Tanzania. You can't just try to fix Kenya, because if your neighbors are not okay, they will still cause you a problem. Just take an example. Mali. No matter how Mali is fighting France, they say, okay, we don't want France to come to live to be in Mali. France say, okay, I'm going to Niger. It's just the neighbor. In Niger, France can still do the same thing they're doing in Mali from Niger. But if we had a conglomerate of party, that same party in Niger, I don't know, Nigeria up to Mauritius, if we kick France out of Mali, it becomes a domino effect. We kick them out because those parties, okay, kick them out of Mali, kick them out of Niger, send them back to their country. But now we can't, no matter how we try. Being an isolated country, you will stay under the influence of the West. Yeah. So I said, don't forget, if you have time, get that book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. It is like a Bible. It will tell you have these wow moments. you will say, okay, like they've got names, companies, banks, everything that is so detailed. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it here. I'm definitely going to read this. Yeah. Wow. That's that that was powerful, my brother. That's really, really powerful. You took all lot of, a new angle, and it's amazing, what you said, because it's true, thinking about it, a lot of things that we produce, a lot of things that we do have, we always focus on, exporting somewhere, exporting to Europe, exporting to that. You can take an example of coffee, how, like, we are the founders of coffee, but how much coffee benefits Africa. You don't see that, but the companies that are working out there, like Starbucks and all those, they make a lot of money out of our own coffee, because we always focus on producing and exporting to them, to go to manufacture.
Exactly. Let me just
Again,
let me just
why don't we put energy on our own thing, on our own industry? Like, if coffee came from here, Africa, why don't we do that? Like, here in Africa, we don't even have Starbucks of our own, right? But we constantly producing something for someone else to take it away from us, but with cheaper price, and the one who are struggling are farmers.
Yeah, I just saw something in Uganda and it breaks my heart. There was one company from Holland, I don't know, they had to pay some Ugandans, elite or politician, to evacuate a whole village just because they wanted to use that village to plant coffee to export it to Holland. They went there, whipped people, all people, whipped them, evacuate them from their houses, destroy their houses, because the white man wants to plant coffee in your country to export them to their country. How do we even have people who still think like that in 2021? And they were like trying to justify their actions of doing that. And they were trying to justify these people were compensated. How can you compensate someone when you evacuate them from their own land with like few hundreds of dollars? It was so sickening, So this is the kind of things we need to say. The politicians we have, we need to completely get rid of them. And we should be the politicians. These people are not better than you. They're not better than me. They're not better than any other person. We should be the ones. We can't be depending on, those are politicians. We should replace them. We should be the ones to replace them. Not some, there's no better person. We are ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine if Obama was the prime minister. How better it would be.
Oh man, that's what we're talking about right now here, man, my brother. All right, let me bring Mwendatezi. We have Mwendatezi here, my brother, to hear from him. Hey, Mwendatezi, what's up, my brother? What are your insight? It's good to see you again. And remember, Mwendatezi and I will be having our Swahili sessions very soon, maybe from 7 p.m. We'll be having that, to draw near a lot of people who are coming from this region to come, in the group, people who do not understand what we are talking about. We want to start using our African languages, to draw, more people, especially those who are not exposed to the language that we are using right now, colonizers' language. Mwendatezi, you can go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, hello, my brothers here. Yeah, this is actually a very interesting topic. My brother who has just spoken before me has really delivered a deep analysis of what's happening in Africa. But my contribution is just that when it comes to the minerals, I think first of all we have to, my brother Ebenezer said that we need to value ourselves. And we have been arguing, I think before we were arguing about this topic, if you look at maybe the previous episodes of Swahili Nation, we really talked about these things. And if you, from what we used to say is that we do not do anything with these minerals. That's why we do not value them. That is my perspective. That to us, I've said this before, that to us these minerals are just rocks. They're just rocks that these other people want. So we just sell them as rocks. We don't know how to turn them into laptops or turn them into things that we see. But but the European or the Asian, they know how to do these things. So we can't really know their value like they do, you know. And that is where we need to look at ourselves, that when we talk about skilled labor in Africa, I know my brother says we don't value our labor, but of course we have a lot of talented Africans. We have a lot of educated Africans, but they are nowhere. If you look at the statistics, they are nowhere near the majority. You know, that's just the truth. That just one engineer, or maybe even 10 engineers, or maybe a dozen engineers, they cannot build an industry. You know that one. You know, even this company, just one car company, probably has dozens of engineers. Just one company of a car, you know, it doesn't have one engineer. It has probably dozens. And yeah. So I think the problem in Africa, and I think it's getting, maybe we are getting there, maybe, that we really need more skilled labor. We really need more people who are educated enough to utilize these minerals, to see their value. Because if you leave it to us, who are, you know, if you leave it to people who do not know their value, they just know that there is a demand and they just sell it. That's why I saw that picture in the group. The minister was saying, you know, he doesn't know the value of that thing. He's saying it is a good deal when he gets maybe 40 million out of 900. You know, he doesn't know its value. To him, it is just, you want this rock and you're giving me millions.
And that is the leader of the country.
You know, so, you know, he doesn't know its value. That is just somebody who, you know, it's not his fault. He just doesn't know the value. He doesn't know that this thing can become a laptop. This thing can become is it oil? This thing can be, you know, you can put it in a. So we're not using these things, you know, like even.
No, it's his fault, man. I mean, as a leader, you have advisors, you have expertise who are working on that region. You have a mining, maybe ministry, you know, in your country. Like you have to listen to these people. Not everybody agrees to it that, okay, let's cut this deal. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of money that goes in the pockets, you know, of other people. But you have bright mindset, you know, in the government that can advise you that no, this is not right. The thing is, like, we are seeing all these deals, my brother, and you start wondering that who are these people who are leading the country? Like, if all of you guys, all of these heads sit down and say, okay, let's cut this deal and put signature and everything, man, how many decisions like that we don't know, we're not aware of, they're happening every single day. And man, maybe Africa, we might be owned. I mean, we might think we have Africa, and we say, system, we need to change leadership. But even if you change, what if our countries have already been sold? What if? Like, we have no idea.
It's because only 10 to 20% of our leaders think like how we think on here. The rest
it's not okay. Let me say this, that it's not. That's what I'm saying, my brother. It's not that 20% of the leadership think like this. It's like people like us who think like this. We are a very extreme minority, and because of that, the majority will always have their way, and the majority do not think like this. They don't see this. That's why I keep saying that if majority of our population was skilled labor, was highly skilled labor, or at least a huge enough to make a political movement or statement, enough just to have a political, to become a political constituency that is valid, you find that you will have more leaders. They will probably promote leaders who have a knowledge of these things. Like, let me give an example of Kenya, because Kenya, we have a very interesting system of counties. So in each county we have a governor. Now, governors are like mini presidents in Kenya. They are an executive. They run their counties like presidents. You know, they have money. They are given budgets. They're just mini presidents of those counties. Now, if you look at Kenya, if maybe you can do this in your own time, or maybe I can just listen to me. The research, what I've found, that this is not research. This is just from observation, that counties that have professors or people who have doctorates as their governors are doing way much better than counties who do not have those people. And I found that if you look at maybe okay, this is just inside the Kenyan, the civic system of Kenya. But if you look like the governor of Kisumu, who is a professor, if you look at the governor of a county called Makueni, like these are counties that have reached that they have the simple the capital city of Kenya is Nairobi. It doesn't have enough water, and the governor wasn't even educated. He didn't even had a degree before he was vying. He took it. They say this is just rumors, but they say he bought it. But that's the thing. He's not that educated. He doesn't. And now Nairobi has a water shortage. It doesn't have. But the county that has a professor has enough water in the pipes. It's water stable, and just simple things like this. You find that even healthcare in these counties that have professors have so you found that, and I found that in fact it is very ironical that it is the rural areas that prefer educated people than urban areas. So it's another thing I was just saying. But what I'm trying to say is that if we value as Africans, if we value education and we say, hey, we want like qualified leaders, like we're like, if you know, like when we say that, hey, you can't be like, you don't have a degree or something, or you don't have any history in education, or what is your educational history? And if we don't have a lot of Africans who value education and they say, hey, we need to educate, we need to elect educated officials, this is what you're going to happen. Because in the end of the day, it's these officials that are going to be representing us in these deals. It's these officials who will see the value of these minerals and say, hey, I know this thing can become a laptop. Why don't we make it for ourselves? You see, even when you see, and you've mentioned this guy called the president of Russia, Putin. You see how he's not he's even when the world is against him, you can see that how he's dangerous. You see, and we were talking about this the other day when you're talking with our sister Tanzan and Swahili Nation. And you, my friend Nika, we're talking about the presidents of Africa who are dangerous. When we talked about maybe the president of Tanzania or even Prime Minister Abiy, people who, when they are in the when we put them in the negotiating table, we can see that they have a wit to them, you know, that they can negotiate these deals even better. So I think if we start electing such leaders, you know, I think that is where the problem is. That is where we will solve our issues. And personally, what I think is that it's getting there. Like from what I see in the next generation, like even just this generation, I see our generation and I see the next generation of young Africans. I see even, you know, when I was in high school, we were not allowed to have long hair. But I see right now in Kenya, high schoolers, they have long hair, dreadlocks and stuff like that. And they're allowed, you know. So you find that we are getting there. We're getting more comfortable with ourselves, more comfortable with who we are. And we're starting to value ourselves. So I see that in the end of the day, we will get there. We're getting there, even if it's a slow pace that maybe you've said maybe in the next 20 or 30 years, it's just going to happen. Even right now, you find that leaders are getting more confident. And I also have to mention that Nigeria is actually selling weapons to Belarus. If you've never heard of that, they're actually selling military gear. So we are already getting there. I was really surprised with this news. So yeah, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, for me, Mondatezi, I have to disagree with you at some point. With the education, I do agree that education is very important, and I think even before I share this as well, I do agree that the education is very important. But as Ebenezer say all the time, that even the education that we do have, still it's, you know, the system is still like the same system, the old system that we are using. So even when you find most of the time, I mean, most of the people who are screwing up, to be honest, like a lot of leaders that we have in Africa, they are educated. We have to be honest, like they are educated, because we have that kind of mindset that, okay, we need someone who is educated to do that. But most of them, they are educated, you know, maybe in the US or in the UK. They get the education there, they know how they would work, they have that mindset of negotiation and everything. But then we are here where we are right now, right? And the whole situation, what I'm trying to add, to point out, is that when you have a leader of the country, like, for example, you gave an example of that governor, you know, in Nairobi. But when you have that leader, I think how he's supposed to be when it comes to leadership, that is like the face of the government. A leader is a representative. A leader is pretty much a servant that represents a huge group of people behind him. You have advisors, you have people who are working with you. So for me, I think the face of the people, it has to be someone who, of course, love the country, someone who has a knowledge about things, right? Someone who, I mean, you cannot have, I've witnessed that so many times, even here in Tanzania, like a lot of ministers, you see, like there's a minister of health, doesn't even have any degree about, medicine or whatever, but he's there. But when you look at the assistance leaders, advisors that he has, are people who are actually expert on that region, on that area. So you can take an example, even, as a president, if you have a president doesn't know everything. But the reason why you have a president, for example, the previous president here in Tanzania and everything that he did, yes, people, they'll always give credits for the strong decision and character that he do have. But at the end of the day, you see people who are working with him, they had that spirit. They had that spirit of working hard. They had that spirit of changing narratives. But the only issues that we're facing in Africa, one of the issues that leader is like God in Africa. Leaders like God in Africa.
Let me just add to that.
Yes.
Let me just add to that. What you're saying, yeah. What my brother, what's called Monateze.
Yes.
Yeah, what you were saying is correct. Yeah. But as you said, that is the phase. What we Africans can do, we should have like what the British, they call some like the House of Lords. Those are the intelligent people. Those are the ones that like control the country. They take very important decisions. Anyone can be a politician. It's just a politician. To be a politician, you need popularity. You can be the most educated person. If people don't like you, there's nothing that you're going to do. But to be a politician, you must be likable. People must like you, charismatic. You might not be educated, but there should be a core. I don't know, maybe the parliament or the senate of educated people who are there to take like really, really important decisions for the country. And it should be clear, only those group of people can take certain decisions. Then any other person can be a politician. That's just what I think. Because to me, I don't see why someone who is a physicist with all that intelligence trying to be a politician. No, you should be in the lab creating nuclear weapon for your country. Or someone that is a medical doctor, you should be trying to create a hospital curing people, not being a politician. Politician should just be like the face, someone that is loved by the people, they like him. Then there's this core that tells him what to do. And those people should be the one making the decision.
Yeah, exactly what he's saying. When it says, let me add it a little bit before giving you back. Like, don't get my point wrong. I'm not opposing that education is very important. I know it's very important, but what I'm saying is the problem that we are facing in Africa. I was mentioning this, that leaders are like God, that they make all the decision, they do everything. So. And that's why you find like a lot of people, they don't even want to leave away from the government because it's power. They want to hold on to power. But if we have constitutions that distribute this kind of like they don't like godify, if that's the word, godify leader, but it gives power to the people surrounding him, then leader will know that my responsibility is to actually work for the people, and people that I'm working with, people who are assisting me, advisors, and everybody, there will be people in that region, in that field, expertise. And I know that I don't have to make all decisions by myself, but I always have, if I want to make decision about mining industry, I need to talk to the expertise that we have, the smartest people in the country that they're based on that region, talk to them. And then me at the end of the day, I'll come there to give a speech and to talk about what happens. And people, they'll give me credits, but I have people who they're working day and night to make sure that things are right and things are okay. So in the leadership's perspective, I think, yes, education is important, but at the same time, the huge amount of our people, and also you can ask yourself, like, what kind of education are we talking about? Are we talking about the Western education, the education that we get from them, and everything is about them, magnify them, and, like putting us down? Or are we talking about African education, our own, like we have to create our own system that will work for us, our own education that will focus on developing us from the within, right? And when it comes to all these things of international collaboration, whatever, we can have expertise of international business, international relation, who will go and negotiate and stay and I mean and like reducing this the gap, because majority of people that we have in Africa, most of them, they are not educated at the end of the day, and we need people to represent them in all these governments and whatever areas we have. We have people who can understand them, people who can stand for them, people who can speak for them. And I'll tell you the truth, a lot of leaders, that some of the leaders that I know here where I am, man, they're like that. Some of them, they don't even have a degree, but they do amazing, crazy thing in their, in their places. These people are members of the parliament, but they're doing crazy thing for their community, and they don't have a degree, because they have that anger and they grew up in the system, that they've seen everything and they want to see change, and they have like a little bit of that, like they just have that desire of changing something in their community, and they're doing amazing work. Also because they have a team, like a team that it's a full of educated people and people who actually don't have education, but still they are supported, they're representing all type group of people that we have in the community. Yes, when it is.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys that yes, education is I'm saying that education is everything and should not be the only parameter to choose a leader. But what I was pointing out is that we as Africans, we do not value education in our leaders. That why is it that a physicist will not be popular as a politician, And this thing we cannot, and we should never discourage professionals from entering politics, because these are the people who know what's good for their industries. It's when you have a professional over there. There's no way a doctor. If you have doctors in as politicians, definitely they are going to have very better insight of the healthcare system than those who are not doctors. And that's why you have to tell us that as Africans we need to value education. We don't really say that that we need to have all of us educated politicians, but you have to ask ourselves.
Can I add something here?
Okay, let me finish my point. Then what I'm trying to say is that when I was talking about the Kenyan one, where the people in the rural areas, when you go to a rural area and you say you're a professor, they really value you. When you say you're a doctor, you have, even when you go to, I don't know I think it's the same all over Africa. The whole village comes to your graduation ceremony or something like that, And what my point is that educated people, and I'm not saying it is the only parameter, but educated people will always make better leaders. That is just a fact. Even if you look at Prime Minister Abiy, who is educated, and look how he's managing this thing. Look at the Doctor, right? Pombe Magufuli, So these are, it is what it is. Like, it is, and then there's this thing about ego, when you can look at the laws of powers. I know in paper it looks like if you're not educated, you just listen to educated people, but it doesn't work like that in real life. When you're not educated, you will always be intimidated by those who are educated. That is just, even if you're a leader, when you will not be and we're having this issue in Kenya too, where when a leader is not educated, you will always put down educated people. You don't want them because you feel like they're a threat. This is just facts in leadership, So that is just my point, that in the end of the day, we should always push for education and highly skilled. Even whatever leader you choose for, let him be, at least when you look at his path in education or whatever, not even just like academics, whatever he was doing, was he excelling in it? Was he doing it for the best? That's it. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, Mwenda Tezi, I do agree with Mwenda Tezi on the education part. I value education, but the problem, what I was trying to point out was, I think my perspective, a bit misunderstood part is that educated people are always there in Africa doing basically nothing, or doing something that they're not, educated for. For example, in Ethiopia, in single university, every year, there is 3,000 civil engineers graduating. and mechanical engineers included, and all those. Like, if you count the numbers from a single university, in just where I grew up in Jimma University, every year the university takes 32,000 students in. And imagine all those people are coming educated. And I can show you, I can bring you to my neighborhood right now where I'm living. I can count thousands of students who graduated are jobless in our neighborhood. Just in our neighborhood, I can count for you. Like in every household, there's educated guy who has no job. You know why? Because I work in a Dutch company and I respect what they do for themselves. You know, like for example, if you want to do cement or concrete, they bring people to mix the cement from Holland. Not because there's not an educated person or a skilled manpower in Ethiopia, because they just want to help themselves. You know, the euro transaction goes there. The money that is paid for the mixing cement goes to Holland back. It doesn't stay in Ethiopia. You see, they don't want to appreciate your educated people. And the government of Ethiopia, the government of all African countries, is supporting that system. You see, they bring engineers not to transfer knowledge. One of the rules of investment in Ethiopia is transfer of knowledge. But no one is doing that. No one is controlling it. There's no transfer of knowledge. They just want to take control of everything. So that at the end of the day, always they have to bring Dutch people or Chinese people from their own country so that they can, you know, the companies can be run by them. So we're losing our educated people, and our value for education is going down because there is no job for our educated people. They're going out there doing nothing. I have doctor friends who are jobless in Ethiopia. And guess what? In my neighborhood, there is a nurse that came from Holland, opened a clinic. She's allowed to do that, but they're not allowed to do that because they need experience. To get experience, you need to go to somewhere to work. As a pharmacist, if you want to open a pharmacy, even if you have the money, if you want to open a pharmacy, you need 2 years experience. Where are you going to get that 2 years experience? Because no one is hiring you. So the question is, still, do we value the education, the educated people, as we value the education? Because as long as we don't value the education system, now when you ask kids in Ethiopia before, when you ask them, they want to be pilots, they want to be doctors, they want to be engineers, they want to be aerodynamic engineer, cardiac surgeons, all those stuff. But now when you ask them, no, grade 12 complete, I'm not going to have a job, so why should I study? I should start business. This is the attitude that's killing the interest of education in the youth. Why? Because our governments are crippling it. Because even if our leaders are educated, you know what they fear the most? The educated people. Because they are competition. They want to stay in power for long. So you're competing with them. So if you have knowledge, if you have skills, if you're likable by people, for example, like Mika, if you're likable by people, then you're in danger. You know why? You're a competition. I'm serious. This is the mentality of our leaders, even if they are educated. This is it. This is when it says, I understand that education is crucial. I always tell Mika, we have to work on education. That's it. That's my deadlock. But we don't value our own educated people. We need people to come to do surgeries in Ethiopia. We need people to come and mix cement in Ethiopia. We have engineers. We have mechanical engineers. We have, I don't know, like name any educational background. We have it here. But what are they doing? They're sitting home. They have open boutiques. They have open shops. And they're just doing business as usual. But they spent 5 years, 4 years in the universities. And people, when they see them, youth, when they see them, they feel discouraged, demotivated to learn, to do something with their life, to do something with their skills. Because no one is succeeding in life in our country. I'm just speaking frankly and honestly about my country right now. I don't know about your country, but in my country, educated people are the most and the toughest failures. There is even a sarcasm. You know, like I read it last time. He said, I have 4 kids. One of them is engineer. One of them is a doctor. One of them is something else, a teacher. And then he said the other one is a thief. And the guy asked him, like, if he's a thief, why aren't you kicking him out of your house? He said he's the only one who's making money. The rest are sitting at home. This is the joke. Education is less valuable in Ethiopia than, you know, like being uneducated. If you have a social contact with people, if you're you know, sociable easily, without education, without even being able to write your name, you know, without spelling your name, you can succeed in Ethiopia. But if you're educated, you know, you think critically, so no one wants you around because you're a challenge, you're a competition. If you start business, they know you're going to win because you do risk analysis. But they don't. They do whatever they can by cheating and run the businesses. And so at the end of the day, capitalism, you know, my point is we need, I agree with the first guy who was talking, I don't know his name. He said we need to create something, a political party. Also, we need to create, like, for example, there's democracy, there is socialism, there's communism, and all those things. We need to have an African ideology also. You know, an African ideology that's not democracy, that's not socialism, that's not Marxism. Something that we need to generate, and that Africans should run under that principle and ideology only. Something that we can agree upon. We need philosophers to come up with ideas in Africa. That's what we need. We don't need an educational system that we learn and copy from them. When you ask the Addis Ababa University president, if you ask him, where did you get the curriculum? He's going to say from US or from UK. We don't need a UK curriculum. We have educational planning managers in Ethiopia. Let's devise a curriculum by ourselves. Let's focus on how we can grow our African curriculum from Tanzania, from Kenya, from Uganda, from Congo, Ghana, South Africa. Let's go everywhere. Let's combine our research, budget something for it. Let's do our own philosophy, our own. Let's engineer our, you know, education. Exactly. So, my battery's dying, so that's why I'm really speaking fast and low. So I love you guys. It's been a really nice trip, but as long as the battery is on, I can listen to you guys.
We love you too. We love you too, Ebenezer. By the way, you know, somebody here say, Salam say, the Western education system prepares you to be an employee, African entrepreneurs and innovators. That's an amazing comment because the guy that is speaking right now, he's in charge of that. My brother Ebenezer, we need to have that meeting very soon. And this is what we need. And I'm glad you are right, Brad.
Yeah, exactly what this brother just said about it. We need education, but I think in Africa, we emphasize so much on theoretical education. We don't have research centers, you know, because that is where we develop that knowledge in research centers. Because if we research on our continent, we're going to research problems that are pertinent to this continent. We have a lot of engineers or like scientists, doctors that are doing research in the West, but mostly they're trying to solve Western problems. I've got someone that went to the West. It's a brilliant guy. Is doing medicine in some, I think, cancer or some kind of Western disease. But when he was in my country, he was trying to fight malaria, you know, because malaria was the pertinent problem that the people suffer. But now I think he's the US. He's studying some kind of neuron, brain, something that is not even African. Well, we don't have that problem here. So he is just studying things that he does not really need. But if we can have research centers, we build our own research centers because I believe that's where the knowledge is. And what this guy said is exactly. In Cameroon, we've got a polytechnic, what they call it, polytechnic part of university. Each year, they have maybe 300 or 400 engineers, civil engineers. But you go to Cameroon, all the bridges are built by Chinese people, French people, or American people. So why do you, these engineers, these people you're giving this education, what do you do with them? if you teaching them to be engineers, then there's no project in this country that is being carried out by people from that polytechnic college. So what's the reason for you doing that to them? That's why now a lot of people, they're just going to agriculture. You've got people who've got degrees, masters, but they're trying to get into agriculture because they believe that's what is going to make them survive. You know, we still have that problem, but we need that political party, you know, that political entity that we are going to choose the right people, the right educated people to make for them to do a job, because they have this intelligence, but we don't use them, because the West, as this brother said, they're importing their own people because they still want to fit Western Europe, you know. So that is a problem.
Yes, my brother. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Amanda Tezi, you want to jump in again? I think you didn't finish what you're saying.
Yeah. I understand what my brothers are speaking, and I think we are just agreeing with the same. We have the same point. We're just giving different perspectives of the same point, really. That yes, education is important, but obviously there are other characteristics of a leader that is also important. But I can tell you for sure that there is nothing, and a leader that is not educated is not going to accomplish a lot. That is a fact. It's just a fact that if you don't, like, when you talk about research centers, you know, because I don't know if I don't think you guys have ever met an uneducated man, and how hard it is to deal with such a person. It's not easy.
Yeah, but as my brother said, most of African leaders are educated. Most of them studied abroad.
Actually, that's not true. It's not true. Actually, you should just check out statistics. Actually, even in East Africa, you can even just look at East Africa here. You know.
No, Monetez, what is education for you? What is like, what level are you talking about? Because maybe we are talking about different kind of levels. Maybe you're talking about PhD.
Yeah, I think.
Degree,
I'm talking about top of their game. Like they have reached. They have you know, whatever field they're in, doesn't even have to be education. Even if they are, you know, just whatever they're doing, even if it has to be mechanic, that they're top of their field, you know. Like, that's what I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about that they have the ability, they have the thirst to be better, you know. That is what I'm actually referring to. Does the leader have that thirst that they have to be better in? Even if, when I can do this, how do I make this thing better? How do I do? You know, that is something. That is why we judge it by education level. But that is what we are trying to look at for. That do they have that thirst? You know, that's why I'm saying.
I'm saying there are people that are doing that without education we're talking about right now. Because for me, this is how I see education for me. There are people who have PhD, but those education is just on paper. All right. Like, there are people who, you know, they had ability to pay their money out of the way, all the way, to get PhD, and they have it in their paper. They have it in their CV. You see, this is a doctor, whatever. But when it comes to think and to do things, they're screwing up. They don't know, because the only thing that I'm aware of is, you know, education on the paper, which is what Salem, she's talking about right here, and which is, like, a lot of time we're talking about this education. We're talking about, does it prepare someone to be creator, to be innovator, or is something that just prepares someone to memorize and to get good grades in class? But at the end of the day, you go outside on the society, you cannot do anything. You can't think, because the only thing you know is memorizing and answers questions, right? We have a lot of people like that who are educated. And at the same time, we have people who they don't have PhD, right? Maybe they don't even have, you know, the second degree. Some of them, they have maybe only first degree. Or some of them, they don't even have that, but they have ability to think. They have ability to actually, like, you know, like, when you listen to them talking, you're wondering, like, this person, like, how many degrees has, because we have this mindset that people who are educated, you know, they can do better, you know, more than people who are non-educated, which me personally, I don't agree with that. because most of people who are doing crazy thing on the streets, and I meet them all the time, are people who they didn't even go to school, but they have an amazing ability of knowing how the life is going and how to change, this thing to that thing. Like they have that. It's like we here in Tanzania we call like street education. Like we have people who knows really how to live and how to transform things, and they didn't go to school. So I still do not agree that people who are educated, they're the one who can actually do better than people who, like, I don't agree with that. At the same time, I agree that education is very important, but we are talking about what kind of education system we are talking about. Like, is this education that we all have? Because I started outside of Africa. I didn't start here, but I'll tell you the education system there, it doesn't prepare someone to be a creator. It just prepare them to be, as this comment, to be employee. To go out and most of them they're working in the coffee shops, right? If you go there, like most of people with degrees and all those stuff, they're working on that. They don't even have thought of starting something or initiate something. They are educated, but they are afraid even to start something. That, oh, how can I do that? No, I just need to be employed. Oh, I just want this. Those are people who are educated, and it's outside, not here, in South Africa. So it's like I think when we're talking about this is what I'm thinking when it is that I think what you're saying is very important, and I cannot take it away. But I think, as Ebenezer say all the time, I think we need to work on our own education system. Our own education system that will work in our environment, right? Our environment are different from their environment, but we're using their system. That's why a lot of us, we are running away from Africa, because what we are studying and what we are learning cannot apply here. Sometimes we need to go out and to try to find a better life somewhere else, and we forget that we need to develop ourselves. We need to be engineer of our own ideas and our own resources and all these things. So we need to work on the system that it will support us, the system that will create more innovators within the continent, more entrepreneurs that will take this continent from a place where we are to another level. And we need everybody to be involved, those who are educated and those who are not educated. So if we work on our system, on our education system that can be suitable for us, then I think we're going to see change. But if we keep working on this education that we are, it's basically for them. And that's why you see people, you say, like, some people who are not educated, they feel threatened, because you come here, speak the colonizers' language, and I think that, oh, this person is really better at what he does than I do, and undermine what I have as an African and the system that we have here. And at the end of the day, it's not really working. Like, even those people who are not educated, and they're looking at their leader and they feel like it's not there for them. It's feel like, oh, that is it's just for them. It's just for, we need to bridge this gap that we have here. But right now we have, like, oh, education and not education. But you need to work for all those people. How are you gonna do that if you're not gonna work on this system and make sure that this system, it helps us,
Yeah, so I just want to go, but before I go, I'm going to say what you say is I'll agree with you. We can't use this measurement of electing a political representative based on education, because we're going to miss out. Because as this comment says, some people in Africa that are educated to work in a corporate environment. Okay, that's what I say. If someone is educated to have a job, give him a job. But if someone is educated to be a leader, make him be a leader. That's two different kinds of education. You may have your PhD or whatever, but you just want a job. You may work in a corporate environment and they pay you, you take care of your family. If that is what that person wants for his life, if he just wants to have a job and get paid, if you make him a leader, you've made a big mistake, because all what he wanted is to take care of himself and his family. And that is what he's going to do first. Take care of his family and take care of himself. And the leadership thing is going to come after. But someone that wants to be a leader, he's going to sacrifice a lot, because that is what he wants to become. So we need to look for leaders. So I use this thing. I say a conscious person is better than an educated person in Africa. But you can be educated and conscious, and you can be educated and not conscious. Then you can be conscious and not educated. So if you put those three things, of course, the first one, educated and conscious, or the one that is conscious and uneducated. But if you are super educated and you are not conscious, you are just as bad as someone that is not educated. Yeah. So I think we should try our best. We should invest in politics, make a greater political environment or atmosphere, because you might be the best engineer, the best doctor, the best ideas, but if you don't have that political environment to come and to bring out your expertise, it's gonna be waste. We're gonna end up like most of us or most Africans that have education, they've got this idea, but the political situation does not permit them to use the expertise in your country. Yeah. So thank you for having me. I'll leave you guys and maybe I'll catch you again live some other time. Thank you.
You're muted.
You're on mute.
I was saying that thank you so much, Tribal African, for supporting and for being with us. He's the member, and he has been supporting for a while, and he's our brother from Cameroon. Hopefully, he left. I wanted to take you on your WhatsApp number. If you can come back, and I just want to have your WhatsApp number because we have to talk about Cameroon as well. Our people, Tribal African, is from there, and he has been supporting our move for a while. So if you can come back and share your contact on the private chat, I really appreciate. But as well, I want to appreciate Mariette, for the super chat. Thank you so much, for the giving. I said this the other time. Mariette, she's not African by nature, but she has Africa in her heart. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a lot of people, a lot of Africans people, in different spheres. So this is our sister from, I believe it's from Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. But she's always here, on the videos, on the streaming, and everybody to, encourage. And I think she has a huge love for Ethiopia. She's been there as well. So I appreciate for the super chat. Yeah, my brother, please share with me your contact on the private chat. I would love to. Maybe we can arrange something to talk about Cameroon in the near future.
Okay, I'm just typing it now. Yeah, we have a lot to. I believe and I think we should be more involved in politics. The youth,
Exactly.
We're talking about all these politicians. These people are they're all been compromised. They are they must follow this status quo that has been created by the West.
Yeah. Yes, hello, my brother. I think we lost him for a second. He'll be back. I love this comment. The second part, and when it is, you go, all right? But our education should be adjusted to where Africa is right now. I agree with this 100%. There's this, I'm not going to mention the country, but in the national exam, they had something like, they had a picture of this, the washing machine. And the question was like how to use washing machine in one of the national exam in Africa. And most of our families, they don't even have washing machine. So I mean, how can you write the answers about how to use washing
machine? You just
air
conditioning? You just remind me of something. I watched one this TED talk.
Yeah.
And there was this lady from Nigeria, and she said something that was ringing the bell in my head up to today. She says we are so I don't know. I'm just going to try to give an example. She was talking about education in Africa, how we are educating ourselves wrongly. She said when she was a child, this alphabet chart that they usually write alphabet. That A for boy, A for apple, B for boy. Do you know those stuff? C for cat, D for dog. She said most of those fruits on those things were European fruits. Strawberry. Things that the African child has no idea what is a strawberry. He said most of those charts, the picture they used were representing Europe. So these children were just looking at those things as a visual thing. They don't really understand what they were talking about. So they just had to cram. And she said that is completely wrong. And that made perfect sense to me. She said we should create our own educational system. There's nothing wrong writing. All those fruits should be what that represent the country, what they can see and relate to them without thinking that what is it. Because if you take that child that is just have this visual representation of a strawberry, he doesn't even know what is strawberry. Maybe if they bring the strawberry in front of him, he's not going to recognize that it's a strawberry. So you're taking that child, compare him with the European child. That European child has already an advantage over him because he is trying to understand what for this European child is just part of his life. So when you say we should create an educational system, that is just like really, really basic example of it. But I hope you understand the point I'm talking about.
Exactly. Thank you so much, my brother.
Okay, I've put my number on the back.
I realized I have you another number. I asked for another before, so yes, I already texted you something.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, my brother. Thank you, man. I love you. Have a good time. Yes,
I was asking a question before you left, but
Electro. Robert Amoko, appreciate for the super chat. Thank you, my brother. You're always doing this. Thank you so much.
I think there is a myth here that we need to bust because I feel it's very dangerous that Africa doesn't have its own education system. I think that's not true. I think our education system is our own. It was developed by our own people who did their own research and produced a curriculum, and that is our. I don't know why these people we like to say that our education system is from the West when it's really it's ours. I don't know
why we're saying that? What it is. You know why we're saying that? Because look at I don't know about Kenya, but look at our textbook, the books we are using. Look at the books we are using in the classes and everywhere we are. They're not books that were written by our people.
Yeah.
In fact, the books that we are using for ourselves maybe are those, like sometimes you have like lessons like let's say it's like history lesson, and then you have very small books. It's minor books that we're using, but most of materials we're using, they're not written by our people. Sometimes even the history book of our own countries, right? We're not using
on that one.
They're written by our people, man. For real, just look at the textbooks. Look at the names. The textbooks have authors who wrote them, and look at the names. They're African names. I don't know if they are written by us. I've never seen a textbook that wasn't written. Okay, at least from high school.
Maybe in Kenya it's
from
different.
High school and below. I think even Tanzania. I think all of East Africa. I don't know. I cannot speak for maybe South Africa or maybe West Africa. I think even West Africa have. Yeah?
No, because when I was going to school, that's not what I was using. So unless if they were written, I mean, in these recent years, but most of books that I was using is not the books that were written by our people. Unless if it's just the, again, I'm being careful saying this, like these small books that are talking about, something, like history of something. Then there are other books that are written like that, but most of the books that we're using, they're not written by our people. And most of books that I use,
okay, let's give examples here. Like when you went, I don't know, I think Tanzania you have maybe class 1, class 2, class 3, form 1, and then high school you have form 1, form 2. Did you have
Yes.
When the books that were given, they were meant. If you look at they were like maybe mathematics. That was mathematics for form 1, and it was written Tanzania, and probably even the author of that book was a Tanzanian. True? Or was it European or something?
Maybe these days, but not the books I used to use. When I was in school, not the books I used to use. And those mathematics book, they're like this much sometimes, and and they're different. Sometimes even and the teacher, so basically, the major difference that I've seen is that the teacher will use that book to prepare a lessons. So the teacher will, because you back in the days, you don't have enough books for everybody, so we'll use that book to write down some curriculum, or to write down some, like, today I'm going to teach about this, and she'll have the notes to share with the students, but the materials come from there.
Yeah. And let me address my brother GB, man. Why do you hate Kenya that much, man? What did we do to you, man? Every time I'm here, man, you always hate Kenya. You see?
No. Who, my brother who left here? Oh, why?
always when talk about Kenya, you always hate Kenya, man. Oh, my brother, man. What happened?
Well, so when okay, let me give you a chance to him. Pi.
Yeah, I'm here.
You wanted to say something?
Oh, I was saying I know I talked about it before on the chat, not on YouTube. I mean, this history I think as far as education, like history, like teaching the wrong history is a problem. Like when I was in school, like I know you guys know, but I did study U.S. history, like about Africa, and they told us that West Africans sold us without context. They didn't tell us that some of them were soldiers. They didn't tell us some of them were our leaders or generals that were fighting back against being colonized. They didn't tell us someone of were stolen. They just tell us that West Africans sold us. So what happens is you got kids, black kids, that are racist against African kids that immigrate to the U.S. Right? But that's a big problem, using someone else's education system. So before you change the actual education system, you need to have the Sultanate culture that Somalis have, where their own parents and their own family teach them about their own history and their own education in their own household before you change the education system, because the education system is being controlled by them. So once everyone knows, when they're teaching false history, in the parents, the kids, and the kids talk to their parents, then you'll be able to change it and be able to tell the teachers and the people that are leaders, why are we teaching the wrong education? And then when they don't want to change it, you just leave the school. Let them go out of business and go broke for them teaching the wrong education system. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
Yes, my brother. Oh, Mwendatezi, you're talking about GB in the comment section. What I was trying to say, Mwendatezi, is this: that Mwendatezi, the truth is, we're not there. When you're talking about your education, we're not there yet. And I mean, it's that truth, because all these leaders that we say are educated and everything we're talking about, most of them, if it's not all of them, most of them, they were in abroad. That's where they got their education, and they're coming, back home to lead. And some of them are doing good jobs, some of them they're not. But ask yourself this question: that why we constantly want to go outside. I'm not saying it's wrong, guys. Again, for those who are finding scholarship to go to study abroad, please do that. Please do that. If you want to go to this country, whatever country you want to go, please go there, get your education, and come back home to develop. Learn how they run things. Even if education is their own education, is about their own things, learn. I'll give an example. If you go to South Korea today, they're studying in Korean. Those people are studying in Korean, everything. And you see how much they promote their own language, their own culture, and their own system. It's their own system they're using. It is their own system. And look at where they are today. Look at where they are today. So, but when you come back home here, and this is what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not even our own things, because, first of all, we don't even promote our own stuff. We don't value our own things, first of all, in so many ways. For example, we can talk about even language. We can go there. That the language we use, it's kind of hard to use a different language to talk about your own stuff. It's hard. Somebody commented here. I mean, Nana Dreams. He said something that I agree with him 100%. He said, "Where's that comment?" He said, "Where's that comment?" That was a really good comment. He says, "Yeah, he speak colonizers' language and thinking like the colonizers." And he has a point. He has a big point here. That
correction, my brother. Anna Dreams is a she.
Okay. Yeah. Let me finish this.
Is a lady. Is a lady. She's a lady.
Yeah, Nana Dreams. Exactly. I don't know why
I was going to mention. I didn't want to cut you off.
I always, last time we had the same thing, and even we ask. Okay, I'm sorry, Nana Dreams. I agree with this because when you look at our education system and what we study in class, we use English. And we don't have enough books in English, to be honest here. Books that are written by Tanzanians, we don't have. Because most of our people, their language is Swahili, so they can write a lot of books in Swahili. How can you use Swahili book in the English class? And you have to use English, to study. I see the beautiful point of that, because today I'm able to communicate with you guys in English. So there's a bright side to that. But also the negative side is that we don't value our own. And when I'm talking about the education system, we don't have our own. What I mean is, look at the system. Everything we use, I've said about books, because most of books that are written in English, they're not our own. Local people didn't write those books. They didn't, because of the language. We have a lot of Swahili books, but we don't use them. So imagine if we use that, right? Where we'll be. Yes, let's continue to learn English, as a subject. And, let's do that, because as long as we know a lot of languages, it's beautiful to know a lot of languages. But you see, there's so many dots that when you connect them, then they lead us to somewhere else outside of Africa, outside of where we are. And so you have people who they value more. And right now, I mean, the other day we were talking about when you speak like Swahili Fasa, people, they're laughing at you. Here, at home, when you speak English, you look like wow, you are the guy, or you are the girl if you speak in English. You know what I'm saying? And if you make a little mistake, people, they will come on you and rush on you. I mean, you see what happened on the internet, on this reality show, the African famous, yes, Young Famous and Rich. Diamond, he made one mistake in his sentence. He said, I am 31st. I am 31st years old, and people, they rush up to him. But that guy, you can if you've watched, you've seen that guy. I'll tell you this: his education, he didn't go to university, he didn't even go to high school. His education, he finished, I think, in the middle school, like Form 4 we call. But look at how he spoke. That guy, he trained himself English. Like when he was already a celebrity, he started to learn by himself, and he had like tutors. And then he said 31st, people, they attack, oh, this, how can, and I'm like, guys, this is not our language. Let people make mistake. Let people speak broken English. If they speak broken Swahili, of course, we'll attack them. But this is not our language. You know what I'm saying? Like, why it has to be like very big of a deal if somebody just do something like, oh, even this. No, you understand. As long as you understand me, that's enough. I don't have to speak in a way that like to speak like a British person for you to say that, oh, you're doing so well. No, like it creates all this way of us not appreciating our own stuff, and we're still struggling to today. And it's gonna be really hard to change, because we already get used to this system that we have, and we are neglecting what is our own system. That's basically what I'm trying to say, Mandatos.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let me say that like I said in the first time, when this thing that it's a myth that we don't create our own books on this. I'm just looking at. I don't know if I can. Maybe I should share the screen. Just look. I'm looking at all the Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 books about biology, physics, mathematics, written by African authors, African names on the out. They are just all of the ones I'm seeing here, and they're for sale, and they're used, and they're the standard in all education. In fact, in Tanzania, it's the Tanzanian government that writes the books. It's not even so this education system is completely ours, and it's just I think it's a myth that, okay, maybe the English speaking part makes it feel like we are talking
completely
about
ours. Even the syllabus we're using, it's like you know,
But
like
education
bridging
is education, my brother. Mathematics does not change in Africa. There's no African
of
mathematics and
course.
Western mathematics. Education is less, So these things are absolute, whatever you do.
It's more of the history and other stuff that
Yeah,
related to.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
when you talk about history, even the history it's the government that determines what history the people want. So it's still in our control, because even in Kenya, our history is very shrouded because everybody wants to for us to learn this type of history. Don't want to know this, like, so it's the government that is controlling all these things. But in the end of the day, education in Africa is very much African. There is if a European came to learn in Africa, they will be in a total different world. They will not understand anything we're doing here. They will probably.
Let me ask you this question, my dad. Let me ask you this question. Then, if you believe that, then why are we where we are today? Like, why education? It seems like it's not helping us. And another question: do you think it's the time for us to change something? Right? Like, there's something we're not doing right, and that's why. Because you say that, okay, the education we have is completely African. Then why is not helping us? Why is not supporting us? Should be the source of breakthrough in a lot of stuff that we have. Oh, if you do believe that, I mean, if you do believe that we are not where we're supposed to be, why are we still mentioning that education is the problem? Education is the problem. So education, because you can hear that from everybody talking about the challenges in Africa, right? And so, what we are doing wrong, and how can we change that?
Okay, I'm not saying that the education system is perfect. Obviously, everything needs to be continuous, needs to be perfected. Everything needs to be improved and stuff like that. But let's not. We know when we start. Let's start by that this is ours. By acknowledging that, hey, this is ours. Of course, we can improve here and there. We can probably the issue in Africa, if you're going to ask me, is that a lot of Africans are not educated. It's not that. It's not that the education system is probably in itself is the problem, but it's that it's not reaching enough people. That is what I could say. Not enough people are getting the required amount of education, because after a lot of I don't know why. I wish Biggie was here, because Biggie was really, when we were talking about education with the brain here. Biggie was here and he was really talking about how Africans are doing good in the United States, being physicists, and they all began with African education. So, and even here in Kenya, there's this guy called is it Mala? I don't know his name, but he's also a very rich engineer in the United States, and he was educated in Africa, in Kenya. So, and he also says that African education is very superior. It's not inferior. The problem is that we're not pushing out enough people. We're not pushing out enough doctors. We're not pushing out enough engineers. We're not pushing out enough all these professional lawyers or something like that. So I think the problem is actually, in the end of the day, I think the problem is financing. That we are not really financing our education system the way it should be financed. That to the point that it should be very easy. It should not be a difficult task to get education in Africa. But I feel like when it comes to education in Africa, it is very difficult to get education. Probably when you compare it to the rest of the world, it is very difficult for Africans to get education. That is what our problem is. That's why I'm saying, perhaps if we finance and to make it even easier for our fellow brothers and sisters to acquire education without having to sell land or sell cows, or just extreme things that half the cut half of their net worth just to educate somebody in high school. It's not really a good condition. So that is just what I have to say. That probably the problem in Africa, as all problems actually, is just money.
That's the thing, because I would say this, that we could have a lot of money more than anybody else because of the resources that we're talking about, because that's where we began. If we make sure that the resources we have works for our people, we have goals, we have all this stuff, that we can actually stay on the position of making deals and turning what we do have into money, because they need our resources. They basically need, and we need money. We have money in a different form, but we need to make a good deals that will actually fund everything that we do have. And we can do that because we have everything, every single thing that is very important, and they need it. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, because for me, I don't see money as a problem. I don't see it as an issue, because I don't know how to say this. I don't see it as an issue because we can have money. We can have money, and we are rich. We are wealthy. Africa is wealthy because of what we do have, and we can have that money if we if we trade this thing, if we do it properly, if we do proper business, if we make sure that we make good deals, not like the one that is happening with Australia, right? If we make that, like, money, it's just in a second. Like, I don't monetize. Don't it make sense? Like,
yeah, you make a lot of you make sense that yes, we should be selling these things probably in a good deal, but now that's where we need maybe proper economists, probably, because in the end of the day, let me, okay, I know, I know GB is going to flip out because I'm going to talk about Kenya again.
he said I live in Nigeria. He said I lived in Nairobi. I know that country. You can't turn us around, Mendetezi.
Yeah. But if you look at Kenya, you find that when you look at our presidents in our history, like, let's start with the second president of Kenya. The first president wasn't really educated. He was, those times, those leaders at that time, you're coming from colonization. There was no education for Africans, so we cannot, we can forgive him. But from the second leader, his name is President Arap Moi. He was a teacher, and because of that, he really reformed the education system in Kenya. He really revolutionized the education system, and he brought in what is actually the current system in Kenya, the 844 system. He's the one who brought it in. So he built a lot of schools. A lot of schools actually bear his name. A lot of good schools bear his name. So he really pushed education in Kenya. Then we have the third president, whose name was President Mwai Kibaki. He was an economist. And during his time, there is no doubt Kenya. If you look at even this, is it the infographics where they show the GDP of Kenya before in the early 2000s, and that time it was equal to, in fact, I think Tanzania, and it was higher in Kenya GDP, and probably even Ethiopia. But during his 10 years of an economist being president, yeah, he pushed that GDP high. I mean, now look at the GDP; it's really pushed high. You find, so you cannot. There is really direct evidence. There is direct evidence that the education of your leader he's going to transform what he studied is what he's going to know. So he's going to push when it comes to reforms in his country. So even right now, the current president, he's not so popular, but he did political work. He did it. What's the course for politics in university? I forgot the name. Is it political analysis? So he's really a good politician. When it comes to politics, he's very good. He's very good at it. Even in the global stage, even you are here in Kenya, he's already in the international Security Council. You find that he's a very good when it comes to politics. Even in the global politics, that is his thing. That's what he was educated in. So presidents when you find leaders tend to project what they are educated in, especially when what they're specialized in, they project it into the personality of the country. So you find that's why I keep saying, when you choose what type of leader you choose, is the education, what they got educated in, and how far they reached. It's going to impact. It's going to be a huge impact. You cannot just ignore it or put it as a small variable, it is going to be a huge impact to what is the country is going, the direction the country is going to take. That is just a fact. Even you can even see with your current president, President Suluhu. I think I saw her education. She is, I think I forgot, but I think her education is about governance or something like that. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to have to look at it again. But that was my point, really, that you cannot wish away, or you cannot ignore this thing that, hey, it doesn't matter how good you're a leader, are you educated? You know, especially the higher positions. You know, especially in the higher positions. You know, that's just a fact. Like, before that is like a criteria you have to accomplish. It should not be the only criteria, because you know there are educated people who do not have integrity. That you know, those are the ones who are giving the people bad names. You know, because you can be educated and you don't have integrity. You know, but you can also be educated and you have integrity. You know, so those are things you should look at. Maybe integrity, maybe education, and just past experience. These are just things that we should all. These are things that when we're looking for a leader, you know, as voters, us as voters here. In fact, Kenya, this is our election year. As voters, we are like HR. We are like human resources. We are like the employer. We are giving interviews. These are the criteria we should be looking at when you're talking to a leader. Like, what is your education? What is your integrity? How have you been involved in corruption or any funny deals, or have you just, you know, all these other things? But let's not say, oh, you don't need to be educated to be a good leader. We are living in 2022. Look at the world is in economic warfare is a thing now. So you know, that's why you can't be making moves without looking at the economic impact of things. You cannot be making moves with looking at the educational impact. We are not living in a world. The world right now, education is like a tool. You just have to have it, man. You cannot, you know, you can't be dealing, because imagine if your leader is not educated and is going to negotiate with the Chinese, you would be scared. You'd be scared.
I will send my vice leader to go to negotiate with them, who is like highly educated than me.
Yeah. But you see, that's the thing.
Someone needs to be someone who is an expert at negotiation. So I will send another mean Trump to negotiate on something, you know.
No, that's the thing, my brother. That's what I'm telling you, my brother. If you cannot, you will be. Let's say when it comes to the world of politics or in the world of leadership, these things like that intimidate leaders. You cannot be like if you're not educated. Just you'll be like, you know, you'll be thinking these guys are lying to me. You'll not be trusting, you know, look, there will be a distrust, or you will be intimidated by these people, or you'll be thinking that they want your position, you know. So these are just things that I have seen even in politics in Kenya, that you find that governors who are not educated and have deputies that are educated, they always clash with their deputies, because they think their deputies are trying to take their positions. You see, so you find that you cannot wish it away, or you cannot just dismiss somebody's education because they are very inspiring in other things, but they really need, you know, they really need to show that they are competent when it comes to in fact just global, maybe even economics, or just even if it is engineering or any field they are in, or even just business. You know, they really need to show competence in their own field, so that they can lead others and they can even talk with confidence. Because when you are the leader, man, you're in a room of people who are very big egos. You know, that is who you're going to be meeting, and you really need to have your own ego. You need to be confident in your own background, that you can also advise. You know, you can also refuse advice. You know, because sometimes advisors can say, no, this is not good advice. You know, and you can also have. So basically, that's what I'm saying. And my brother here from Cameroon, he was speaking that we need to have research, but who will know and only an educated leader will know the importance of having research in your country. You know, that is just it. That's what I'm just trying to say.
All right, Mwandatezi. Guys, Mwandatezi for presidents in Kenya. I vote for Mwandatezi.
They are more qualified people. They are more
well, Mwandatezi, man, we need to take over this, you know, this continent. Gentlemen, I want to appreciate you. Pi, I see you unmute yourself. Do you want to say something, and then I'll let you go?
Actually, I did have something to say, but I lost my train of thought.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I
Go
lost
ahead.
my train of thought. But wait, are we wrapping up right now?
Yes. After what you said, I will wrap up for today.
I don't think I have much new stuff to talk about. I think we pretty much cleared up everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I love about today's discussion? We had like someone from Ethiopia, Caribbean, Cameroon, Kenya, and Tanzania. So it's amazing that we have your brother Pi representing our diaspora people outside there, and we have a representative from the Western Africa, the Cameroon, East Africa, Ethiopia, and everywhere. His Excellency is not here, but it's just amazing that we had like 5 different nations together and discussing about this. For me, I really enjoy this conversation, man.
Yeah. And now we just need to have these in person.
Oh yeah.
Next year, you need to go to Somali region, man. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Walsame. I always spoke to Walsame that, man, my brother, whenever he's going there, we are going there. And not only me, with Mwenda Tezi as well. We are going to Somalia,
Yeah,
so
man.
those
Let's
are
check out
things that we
Somalia,
are
bro.
dealing with. Yeah, we gotta go there, and we'll go to Mali, we go to Cameroon, we go to everywhere. Anyways, everywhere.
Congo, man. Congo is
Congo. We need to,
this
man.
is
Like, and now it's in East African community, so that's good. That means we don't need. That's good. Yeah, we need to go. We'll go there, man. That country, that's one of the countries that I cannot wait as well to go. Because there's a lot to show, man. And right now it's EAC, so they will treat me like one of them. You know what I'm saying?
We'll be having the same passport, so
exactly. No passport, no visa, whatever. Just go there. I'm like, hey, I'm one of you guys. And hey, I cannot wait for that, man. Yeah, Congo is very significant place. And when we go in there, I think we need to go to economists. We need to go to engineers, people who like One Africa team, people who, they know things about minerals and all this stuff. To go, not just go there for a mission, but also to do some research, to interview some companies there to find the truth about, we can even go, we will go there, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro.
She's telling me, and if you need to cool down, come to the Netherlands. Yes, I'll visit you there. I'll visit you there. We have a One Africa family there in Netherlands. I'll visit you there. You just need to guarantee my security.
Yeah, I think Congo is going to be very important. I think if we go to Congo, we should really uncover this mystery why Africa can't use these minerals. Or we really need really need to uncover this mystery and just say, hey, this is why we're not getting good deals. This is just why.
Yeah.
Because look at this and this and this and this. Look, we should just uncover it. Just see what's behind the curtain.
It's not even just the deals. There are probably hundreds of private planes a year just carting out the resources. Not even just the deals that are in DRC, it's just leaving without no one even knowing about. Well, people know about it now. I heard about that from when Maya did an interview with Prof. Lumumba, the lawyer. Have you heard of him before?
Yeah, PLO Lumumba.
No.
Yeah.
Mika, you've never heard of Lumumba, PLO Lumumba, the lawyer.
Come on, man, the professor.
Yeah.
By the way, I reached out to him. Hopefully, I'll have conversation with him very soon.
See, those are the great minds that we need. This is something.
You cannot imagine, man. That's one guy that I want to talk to, this year. Like, of course, I want to talk to a lot of people, but that's one guy I want to talk to, and hopefully, I already communicate with them, and I'm gonna get feedback. Hopefully, there will be some positive. Yeah.
There's also
Monetizing can help me, man. You're there.
Yeah. There's also Professor Wandia Njoya. She's also very Pan-African, and she really pushes the education. I think she's a professor in education or something like that, and she also talks about education in Africa. She's like PLO Lumumba, but I don't know. I think she's famous because she gives talks all over the world, really, because I've seen her getting interviewed with international universities. Maybe I think I'll send to you her. She's very active on Twitter and also YouTube.
Yeah.
She has a YouTube called Maisha. Her YouTube is in Swahili. She's also proud of the language. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation with her. We need as many people as we can. Yeah, I'm very excited. This is gonna be a great year after the launch, and thank you for bringing Congo. We're gonna go there, and right now it's EAC, so it's gonna be. And I have a lot of people in Congo, man. In Congo, it's gonna be beautiful. I have a lot of brothers there, so in Bukavu, in everywhere. So it's it's gonna be crazy, man. We are going to everywhere, guys. And remember, Kilimanjaro Pi, you need to come to climb Kilimanjaro this year. Pi, okay. We are climbing Kilimanjaro, One Africa. You need to come, my brother.
That's hard work. I know. I saw with the man, and oh my god, man, those guys were really. That's hard. It's a hard climb.
When you tell you're not running away from this, man, you're just here. You are coming to. We are talking about June. We're talking about June. Ebenezer will be here, and other people. So you guys clear your schedule for that, okay? Clear your schedule, guys. I'm going to talk to these companies who are dealing with climbing and everything, to cut some deals. Hopefully we'll have, and let's go to the peak of the Africa. Let's go there. So I count on you guys.
Pie. Put the One Africa flag. Put the One Africa flag on the highest point.
Exactly. But just think about it, my brother.
Okay.
It'll be all right. If there'll be someone who cannot climb all the way to the top, you can stop somewhere. We have camps everywhere. Stop and wait for us there. We'll go the way to the top, and we'll come back to pick you up. And I'm going to register gym very soon because I need to start practicing and exercising.
Wait, which mountain did you climb when you were there?
Eh?
Which mountain did you climb when you were in Ethiopia? I forget.
That was Bale Mountain.
Was it hard?
Man, it was kind of hard. That's when I realized that, man, Kilimanjaro is gonna be very difficult.
Man, I told him, these things are.
There was a moment. No, there was a moment. It was a little hard. Like when I started go, and then I started to feel like, man, I'm losing my breath and everything. But because I'm out of shape, But then later on, it was kind of like a piece of cake, and that is like 4,733. Kilimanjaro is 8,000 and something, right? But it will be fine because we'll take like a lot of days. We're not just gonna use one day, but we'll take a lot of days. We'll be camping and not taking shower in those days, and going there. Yeah, so it's gonna be. I mean, we can do it, man. Come on, Wodemaya did it. Everybody can do it, All right, guys. Let me let you guys go. I think this was a beautiful session, and we'll have this session again. And I'll always just whenever I go here, I'll just inform you guys as well. Just in case if you're available, you can come and join. And hopefully the 9 p.m. East African time session, it's still kind of hard again to manage because of where I am and everything. But hopefully we'll catch up with that.
Are we still talking tomorrow?
Too?
Are we still talking tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Oh yeah. I think that's what His Excellency mentioned. Yeah, so that's gonna be there. It was Friday or Saturday?
Oh, I asked about Friday. Ezra said Saturday. I said okay, Saturday.
Oh,
I think everyone saw it.
Yeah, even me, I saw it. I think that's when I where is that? I think Ezra, he said let's make it Saturday. That's what Ezra said. And then Pi, you say sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also talking to Awa because she's in Telegram, so hopefully she can join on that day.
Yeah, it would be nice to have someone from northern Somalia speak. I know she has the same perspective as Wasame, but just to have a more balanced viewpoints of what's going
Exactly.
on. I also wanted to connect what we're talking about in Somalia and northern and southern Somalia to the rest of the Horn, because I feel like we're not really comfortable with this identity, like this Ethiopian identity, this Somali identity, this African identity. Like, there's so many layers to it. Like, I feel like there's not really, at least Ethiopian Somalia, at least inside, not necessarily outside in the diaspora, but inside, like the identity of these like groups of people is not clearly defined. Like, everyone's always fighting over like what's Ethiopian, you know what I mean, or what's a Somali.
Yeah, indeed. All right, guys, have a good day, good afternoon to Tezi and Pi. I think is it good evening or good what?
Good night.
Good night. All right, guys, I'll see you very soon, man. I love you guys and talk to you very soon. All right, guys. Let me remind you this, guys. Today at after 30 minutes from now, we'll be releasing a video. So please go. It's right here. This is a very interesting video documentary. Please go and set as a reminder like that. Subscribe, turn notification button. This will be very interesting video, and I see a lot of people are waiting, and we have more than 113 people liked already. 9 people are waiting. It's an amazing video. All right. I still have a lot of videos from Ethiopia's trip, and I am trying to edit them ready to show you guys. So please go and watch this 30 minutes from now. Now it's 3:22, so 30 minutes and some few minutes will be up. Please go and watch. It's a beautiful video. All right, it's a beautiful video. Yeah, it's amazing. It's documentary. All right, it's a documentary, guys. So if you have access to, we can put this documentary on Netflix as well. Anyways, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for stopping by. For those who gave today, Marriott and my brother Robert, I appreciate so much for that. For those who commented and share their opinions and share their points of views. For those brothers who came here, the tribal African, I love that that name. Mwenda Tezi, Pi, and Ebenezer. I appreciate you guys. I love you. It was an amazing discussion. If you guys are joining right now, please go back and watch this discussion. It's very important. I love you so much, so very much. And I'll try to keep up with this live stream, but just know that I'm releasing video every day, and support those videos that I release. Share, like, comment, do all those kind of stuff, to support the effort and the energy that we're putting into these videos. All right, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of effort, and I'm asking you guys to support that by watching the videos and sharing those videos. It's very, very important. And maybe you don't like the idea that so many videos from Ethiopia, but we're one Africa, and we're gonna go to another country and we're gonna do the same thing. I already set the bar, the standard. So when we visit other countries, man, we're gonna do that. All right, we're gonna do that. So yeah, support, and it's gonna be amazing. Let me thank God, and then I'll get out of here. God, I thank you for today. Thank you for what we've discussed, what we talked. It's not just about the discussion, but it's about the impact of what we're talking about. And I hope that, God, you're opening up our eyes and the eyes of our people to love Africa, to care for one another, to strive for unity, peace, and love. So thank you so much for this beautiful continent, and thank you for all, because everything that we do have, you have given to us. Bless everyone who joined here today, and remember them, God. Even remember our sister Marriott, who is fighting C this pandemic. God, I pray for a full recovery right now. And for our sister who she's battling cancer. God, I pray for her as well. Remember her. I give you praise and honor and glory in Jesus' name. I pray. Amen. All right, guys. You can see that I'm tired already. I'm getting out of here. I love you guys. Subscribe. Please support the video. It's coming after 30 minutes. I'll see you guys there.